I've got Lada Boshone, Communications Manager, National Conservation Foundation, here to talk. Nigerian Conservation Foundation, thank you very much. Here to talk to us about the World Wildlife Day. Good morning again to you and welcome. Let's very quickly talk about this. This will be celebrated, of course, in 2023. That's this year under the theme Partnerships for Wildlife Conservation. Very quickly, not a lot of people pay attention to the wildlife. Tell us what the wildlife is about, or what wildlife is about, and then why this is an important celebration.
Okay, so when we talk about wildlife, you talk about species, animal, plant, you exist in the wild. When you talk about in the wild, you are referring to the forest. So you look at every animal you can think about, not necessarily those ones you can domesticate, but those ones that are supposed to be in the wild.
Yeah.
So that's what is termed wildlife. And because we are having more challenge of degradation of their habitats, of course, simply say forest degradation, a loss of forests will cause them to be displaced. We are having some of them being endangered. If care is not taken, some will go into extinction. Because of their functions in the ecosystem and their biodiversity service they are rendering, we might tend to lose them. If we lose them, the man is in danger. And that's why it's necessary for us to talk about it.
All right, so the day is basically to bring about awareness.
Yes.
And educate people on the need and the use of protecting our
Yes, and this year's theme, Partnership for Wildlife Conservation, in other words, calling all strata, all groups, every set of people, let's join hands and promote wildlife conservation.
All right. Over the years, has the receptiveness from people grown towards joining and making people aware of, okay, we need to protect our wildlife, they're important for this? Do you think the awareness has had that?
I think now it's better than before. People, we had the apathy, people never really bother, but now we have a lot of celebrity on social media that are promoting wildlife conservation. Yeah, we have quite a lot of them, they're into wildlife conservation on their own, and nobody's really paying them. They're just doing pro bono, trying to promote, excuse me, messages on. So we have some of them, like NCF now, we have some wildlife ambassadors that we also engage. Some of them are also celebrity to help to push the message of wildlife conservation. So I think there's this attention coming up on paying on wildlife conservation for now. So it's better than what we had before.
All right. Is there a specific theme attached to the celebration this year?
Yes, Partnership for Wildlife Conservation.
Partnership for Wildlife Conservation. That is very nice. Very interesting, actually.
Yeah, interesting stuff. So, as regards, you did mention in your response to what wildlife is exactly, and the fact that not a lot of attention is paid to that in Nigeria. Do we have, would you say, we have, from your experience, it's your forte, wildlife in Nigeria?
Yes, of course. Well, even though we say that we are losing our forests at a very alarming rate, but at the same time we still have forests. For example, we have some forest reserve, we have national parks, there are also forest reserve. We have one that is owned by us called Lekki Conservation Center in Lekki. There are a lot of locations. We also have some other projects that we manage on our forest reserve in Ogun State. We have Fidema Nature Park in River State. We have Ichebe Nature Reserve in Cross River. Some other projects like that. There is a community forest reserve we are currently working on in Ikoyi side in Cross River State. That's also an example of the forest where you can find this wildlife and some other, even Yankari Game Reserve that's owned by Virgin. So those are examples of the forest that you can say you find wildlife.
So my question was deliberate because, for many Nigerians, if they want to see, or it is imagined that we don't have such a situation that these things, if you want to see them, you probably go to South Africa, you have to go to Kenya, because, they promote these things. As a matter of fact,
it's the promotion that makes those nations look as if they have more wildlife than us.
What can we do then to be like them in that regard?
Number one, we need to understand that there is money in ecotourism.
Definitely.
So if our dependency shouldn't be on oil, and so if we look at the business aspect of it, there's money there, then government, private individual begin to look at how to explore. That's number one. Number two is that we need to also improve, do what we call afforestation and restore degraded lands that we have. Those forest reserve, you know, there's this thing that if a particular portion of land has been set aside for as reserve, let it be reserved. In other words, it means that you cannot go in, you cannot develop, you cannot have any infrastructure there, you cannot convert it to whatever. Let it just be. So if that has been done and we respect it the way it is, then we'll be able to have those animals survive in those spaces. But the challenge we are having today is that we're having encroachment. We're having people going there, either legally cutting trees. We're having overexploitation because due to unsustainable farming by the community people. We're having all sorts of things. So it's making us look, and the more we have this thing, this problem, the more we are losing those wildlife. You understand?
Okay. Okay. It's very interesting how he said that. You said that you need the government to basically explore this market because I went to a safari in Namibia, and Namibia celebrates their wildlife, and they do this with partnership with South Africa. So would you look into partnering with other countries maybe to just get the word out there even more if the government will not exactly jump on it, they'll give you all the support you need?
First and foremost, let me establish that NCF, Nigerian Conservation Foundation, is an NGO.
Okay. So
what we do basically, what NGO we do advocacy, we manage projects, we also propose programs, we can develop policy and propose, just to do some framework and help and push it and address. And also we are on certain boards. The newly inaugurated Commission for Climate Change in Nigeria and Service on the board. Those are functions that we do. So we can also propose to government and develop a framework for how to begin to explore ecotourism on big scale. And then propose how do you go into partnership, all these things. These are things we can help the government to do. But we don't have the capacity and we don't have the authority to say we are approaching any government or any country to go into partnership. That's left for government to do. But we can propose. And then, of course, if any private individual or private organization want to take up ecotourism, we are there. We can give our support. We are experts in it, so we have that expertise and the knowledge to help to develop and to help to manage the project. The Finima Nature Park that we have in Bonny Island, River State, is actually owned by LNG and the community, Finima community. We are managing it. For years, we have been the technical partner on it. So those are part of the things that we do.
Yeah, let's very quickly maybe come to the flip side of the government's people divide, right? And let's talk about the people. Talking about the government and what role they can play. What role can people play, to ensure the preservation of wildlife, which is the advocacy essentially, because half the time when people maybe encroach or even come close to this wildlife, what they do is hack them for meat, right? What can we do differently? What better advocacy can we push to the people's side to say, do this, don't do this when...
Okay, so let me first appreciate the management of your station for giving us opportunity every time to talk about wildlife and environment. That is one of the things we expect from the media. Your tool is very powerful. People listen to you. People want to hear. What you say is what people move on, So they take action on what you say. So if we continue to talk about wildlife conservation, preservation of the environment, people will take action. People will believe it. So that's the aspect of the media. Now, the people that live around those forest reserves, what do they need to do? Currently, we have a project we are running, Kenji Lake National Park. It has to do with dealing with the communities around the park. Because we discovered that some of the problem we are having is because the community are encroaching on the park. And there's so much of exploitation and all that. So you bring them, you train them on sustainable farming. How do they continue to farm? Because if you say they should not go into the park at all, they will go hungry. And so how do you engage them? They will not go hungry, they will not be poor, and then they will not still destroy the forest. So you train them, you put them to sustainable farming. You also put them through the fact that they don't need to kill animals. Because sometimes some of these hunters kill animals. For instance, maybe you kill one animal and the animal is pregnant. You have killed two. So that knowledge you also need to explain to them. How do they identify and then which animal they should not kill? There are some animals they don't need to go. There are some that they can also rear on their own. Grass cutter is very easy to rear. So those are things that we teach people, we let people know and not just. And then then you are able to get funds to help them. We did one in Okomu National Park also. We got those communities and we trained them. Then we gave them money. And so okay, so you can start this project. It might not be so big in terms of money. That's why we are requesting that people fund our project. If we have money, we'll do more. So they just start off. So you've been able to discourage them from destroying the forest. At least what we can do by giving them alternatives. Because if we tell them don't go at all, what else do they do? So then all the people then the school also, we set up conservation club, and the essence is to prepare this generation and the next generation to know the environment is important. So we now ask all other schools to also embrace setting up conservation club, and then the government also have environmental education entrenched in the curriculum. If we have that, it will help us.